Whoa. Is it working? It looks like it's working. I hear myself very quietly. It sure is working, I am told. Wow. Hello everybody. We won't have a lot of dead space like the first time, because the first time we were just testing it. And we knew what we were doing, but did we really? I don't know. So we are here and we are starting off. This is our Let's Play of Psychonauts, Part 2, Part 2, as they say in French, Part Dos, Part whatever. My name is Heather Alexandra. I am the Content and Community Manager here at Double Fine. I will be playing the game, and I guess Ford is talking to us. I'm pausing for a second to explain just a little bit about the stream. We have a lot of guests who are coming in. Tim will probably end up joining us today. We have some wonderful people who were involved with the game as well, just like we did last week. You will notice that I will not be collecting every collectible. I am sorry, this is not going to be a 100% playthrough, a 101% or whatever the actual percentage is. And there might be times where I miss stuff, because it honestly has been maybe about 5 years since I've played this game. I know for some of the people I'm going to be talking to who made the game, they haven't touched it, or at least a couple of them are like, oh, I can't touch it anymore, which is very funny. But we won't collect everything, which will be the case. But I'm going to start running around. When last we left off, I needed to go get a marksmanship badge from Agent Ford Cruller so that I could do some stuff with our wonderful friend Agent Sasha 9. So that's easy to do because they put the stump right outside here. There's Dogan.
Where would you like me to color?
And we can hop down in here, which is good. And then for my guests who are actually secretly lurking backstage, I'm sure that anybody can show up anytime they want and we'll chat and relax, but I just got to get a marksmanship badge, which is super, super easy. If you're in chat, please vibe, ask questions. I will try and look at chat as well. I have the curious privilege of being both a host and a player and an interviewer. So, juggling a lot of things, but we do have some people in chat too that will be able to help you as well. You can highlight questions. Someone says, Heather, what? I don't know. You're Ford Cruller. I can't do Richard's voice. What's my favorite Psychonauts level? Someone asks. Wow, that's really hard. I feel like everybody has the same ones. Also, yes, the game will be quieter. Somebody says the game is a little quiet. The game will be quieter because I will be talking to people throughout this. We will have interviews and people who played the game who will join us, which is very, very good. So you won't get to hear Agent Ford Cruller talking to you all the time. And that's the worst Ford Cruller impersonation of my life, which is terrible. Which is that's pretty bad. But yes, the game will be a little quiet, but we do have subtitles on, which will be very good. Is this a 100% playthrough? Dear gosh, no. I feel like I'll answer that question a couple times, but no, it won't be. Yeah, that's good. I think, which one of my guests wants to unmute themselves and say hello to the world? Surprise me, it's first come, first serve.
I'll go ahead and say something.
Oh,
Sure.
Hello. That sounds like Mr.
This is
Raymond Crook.
Yep.
You were an animator on this game.
Yeah, animator, character modeler, character rigger. Yeah, we kind of wore more hats back then. We kind of had to.
Yes. I feel like we're still a company where a lot of hats are worn, both literally and not literally, and metaphysically, maybe a little bit too, which is good.
I should say hi to Eric Robson. It looks like he's in the house. Who was our he was our lead designer.
He was our lead designer.
Well, let's see. I don't know. I can't remember. It was a long time ago.
That's the answer everybody gives me. I think we have one other person who decided to unmute themselves. Who do we have there?
Hey everybody, I'm Dave Russell, and I was also a character modeler and an animator and a rigger, and eventually became the animation uh, department lead during this game. And hey Eric, nice to see you.
Oh, he's
Um,
probably in chat, right?
yeah, Eric is in chat, and
Oh, I
he
see him.
and he
Yes.
was the lead designer. Yeah,
Very good. So we have Raymond Crook, animator, rigger,
yeah.
etc.,
And
etc., and Rusty as well
I'm just a character artist
on Psychonauts 2,
on some other game we're working on. Yeah,
the only game. And then
yeah.
Ray, what are you doing on Psychonauts 2?
So I'm a senior animator, so I moved into just purely animation at this point,
We
which
both
is what I like
specialize.
doing. Yeah, we kind of
Yeah.
we kind of went different directions, even though we came on, when we first, because we're only a couple months apart, in 3 months, 2 months, Dave, in our hiring.
Yeah,
We
you
were
were
hired
in what? May? Oh
February,
no, were you?
February.
Okay, and I got hired in July because they realized there was too much work for you to do and they needed somebody else.
Yeah, or April. It's April. April. Sorry. Oh, I can't remember.
All
Yeah.
those years ago. That
Yeah.
almost 20 years, almost.
20, it was 20 for
It
Ray.
was.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
it'll
hit
be
20
20
in
for me
April.
in July.
Oh, wow. How's that make you feel existentially?
Old.
Well, yeah. So Dave and I met in school, actually, in college. That's how we first met and
Oh,
did
cool.
projects. Yeah.
We've
We.
known each other longer than 20 years.
Yep.
I feel I feel like that's a story that we hear a lot too, because I think Scott was saying that he had met Bagel while in college too.
Yep.
So we have a couple folks who have met each other in college and then showed up at the Doubly Fines.
Yep. Yeah. Just kind of. Yeah. It's kind of, you for people who maybe are thinking about getting into the industry, it's definitely helpful to know some people, some connection. I mean, obviously you have to have some skill as well, but getting your foot in the door, it can be really helpful to have a connection. Like when we were in school, someone who had graduated from our college, who worked at Double Fine, a guy named Garov had reached out to one of my instructors. He recommended me, then I recommended Dave. So it's kind of this,
Yes.
kind of a chain reaction. You kind of pull each other in if you can.
It's there's definitely a networking component to job stuff no matter what you do. That's
Yeah.
just the truth. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just say that so that, if there's socials, if you're in school, get to know your fellow students well and work with them, and because you will probably cross paths at some point with them.
And get to know your instructors as, possibly friends who would recommend you to companies that may reach out to them.
It's true.
And do your homework.
Make more friends than bridges you burn.
Yes.
Although I will say, oh, there's a stump in here? I was an idiot. I went outside to get to the stump. I always forget that there's one just right over there. You can tell I haven't played the game for a while. I will say you can burn a couple bridges in life. If somebody's like a jerk, you can use your pyrokinesis. Or if they're like saying mean things about your buds, you can be like, screw you, and that's fine. That's totally fine.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to work with them anyway.
Yeah,
so.
they're a big piece of crud. You don't need them in your life. So I wanted to ask both of you, at least for both of you, what's your earliest memories of working on this game? Because, partially because everyone's memory gets a little, every time I ask them, they go, oh, I don't know.
I know exactly what mine was.
Do you?
Yeah, because I got thrown into it the very first day I started, and that was modeling the first camp kid that we had designs for, and I can't remember her name. Is it Frankie?
Yeah.
Ray, do you remember?
Yeah,
Frankie. She's got a purple skin and kind of a red hair in a box shape with two curls that come out. And that's the first thing I started on my very first day.
All right.
That's interesting. Yeah, for me, my very first memory working on the game was probably so here's what happened is I came in and I had to model Sasha, actually.
Oh, wow.
And I did that, and then I had to put a rig in him, so I had to rig him up. And somehow we didn't have a rigging system really back then. It was just you built everything from scratch. We basically did everything wrong, which is fine. That's part of the learning process. And I had screwed something up on his rig, and it required our lead animator at the time, not Dave, but another guy that was there. I think he had to stay like almost the whole night to fix my screw up.
Oh no.
And he was having some health issues, and it was just like, I mean, I just felt horrible. I felt really horrible. So that was my sort of introduction to the industry.
Ray, I don't know you very well, partially because I've only worked here for a year, and I don't want to say that you should have felt horrible, but it's okay to feel a little horrible if you want. Yeah.
Yeah. I should have felt horrible. But but the other thing is both Dave and I were coming straight out of school. We didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah, of course. I think for a long time, even after you've had experience in any field, you still kind of, I mean, that learning process is so ongoing. I did journalism for about 4 years, almost 5 years, and it wasn't until like that last year where I even started to feel like I knew anything about what I was doing as a writer, right? So Lord knows how that would work if you also have to learn animation and rigging, and then as time goes on, go from one engine to another or whatever. Oh, I did the wrong thing. I shot the number 2. I was talking.
It's definitely a challenge. My job changes like every few years because new software comes out that makes it possible to use the newer game engines. So I have to relearn my job every few years, at least in animation. Disagree, Ray, if you want. You're still moving joints around and keyframing and trying to get a performance.
Yeah, it doesn't. The animation job doesn't change as much, because it is the fundamentals are all the same, and even the software between softwares isn't that different. You're pretty much doing the same thing. I mean, there's obviously some tools you can add to your your repertoire, if you want to call it that. But but as far as animation goes, you're still.
Oh, you know what it is? He wants me to lock on, which is what button is lock on again? There we go. Yeah, that's right. I'm zoning out because I'm listening to you.
Yes. Yeah.
That's one of the hard parts of it's even when you're streaming by yourself. Sometimes you're like, oh, what am I doing? Because you're looking at chat or something. But because I'm listening to both of you, because I'm so interested in, because I don't really know anything about kind of what was going on back then.
Yeah, I remember working on this. I remember the little thing that popped up that has the little dial on it, and animating that little it's where you like turn it. You can crank up the sensors. You can turn it up or down. And there's this cutscene coming up here. Raz gets cocky.
So because you were somebody who was working on Sasha, did that mean that you also ended up doing a lot of the stuff associated with Sasha, whether that's stuff in his level or elsewhere? Would that work? Or I mean, they're probably sending you on whatever tasks they need people on, but did you find yourself working on Sasha and that aesthetic and that stuff more often than not?
No, we didn't really break it up like that. You weren't really assigned. If I remember right, I mean, Dave, it's been a while, but you pretty much built the character, and then So when I started, I should just backtrack a little bit. When I started, I was not actually hired as an animator. I had an animation background, but they didn't need animators. They needed character modelers and character riggers, and so that's what I came in.
Sure.
Came in the job to do that, and then they slowly, as they got more and more work and they got under pressure, they would start to throw little bits of animation at you, and so you just kind of prove yourself that way.
Delicious little animation bits.
Yeah, exactly. Like maybe they'd first throw at you just that little dial. Okay, we need you to animate the little knob, the little dial on this crank thing like that you're looking at right now. Or animate the little idle for it, just stuff like that. So that's what you would start out doing, and then eventually you slowly start doing some other things. But as far as being assigned a specific character to focus on, I don't think we did it like that, Dave. Did we?
No, we just had a slew of characters that were on a list, and we just kind of did them as so. I think last time you did this, Heather, you had Bagel and Scott on.
We had Bagel and Scott.
Yeah, so they would give us orthos, which are just drawings that are like front and side, and a back if you really needed to know what the back of the character looked like. And we took those into Maya, which is the 3D modeling program we use, and started with polygons, just modeling polygons and splitting them and turning them into these characters. And then Bagel and another artist named Kim Kogan would actually paint all the materials for them, because we didn't
Yes.
actually do the materials back then. That was done by our 2D guys,
Oh, yeah. Interesting.
which is unusual because that's not the way it works nowadays.
Yeah, not at all.
Character artists are supposed to or are expected to do all of their own materials. So it was kind of a weird thing, because you would model something and go, I think it should look like this once it's painted, but then you had to realize that another person was going to do it. So if you modeled anything a specific way, you had to tell them why, like, you should put that into the texture. I'm not going to model that. You should paint that instead, sort of like that. So, but if you're doing it all yourself, you already know all that information.
Yeah, we kind of did that even in Brutal Legend, right, Dave? I think.
Yeah, it's not until Lee came in, Lee Petty, who has made Lee Petty, who's a master, and he eventually got the character artists doing their own materials. Yeah.
Yeah, because
we started without Lee, so that we just kept going the way we did it in Psychonauts.
Yeah, because we would bring in animators, like we brought in an animator from Pixar to animate, but they're like, oh yeah, also you have to model and rig your characters.
Yeah. Well, back then, like you said, back then we all wore different hats, and it's a good thing to know those vocations, even if you're not going to do it as a living. It's a good thing to know, because being a character artist who knows how to rig something makes your model better. Being a rigger who knows how to animate makes you think about all the different possibilities that an animator might put your character through. So, it does all feed into each other. So it's not a bad thing to know those things.
We moved on to something sad for a moment, which is the vaults, which is the intersection of, I suppose, artists and then animators, right? Because it's the thing you chase and beat up, which has animation, and then you beat it up and you get art on the inside.
Yeah, Scott did all those, I think, if I remember right.
Yes,
they're beautiful. I really love the vaults, and I love this how he's really good at just telling that story just through a few drawings.
He was saying during the last stream that he was finishing up a few vaults for P2, because we are coming down to, believe it or not, what definitely feels like The Wire, right?
Yeah, I'm really excited that he's doing them. I wasn't, because I'd heard maybe he wasn't going to have time to do them, or wasn't going to be able to do them, and then when I found out he was doing them, I was really excited.
I'm stuck on an edge. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's, it's so many years later, and making sure that we can assemble as many people to keep things feeling consistent is part of it's easy, because we have so many folks still at the company, but also people off doing all sorts of things, either elsewhere or just kind of solo, because Scott he's artist showing off stuff, selling prints and all that stuff.
Yeah.
For both of you, then, a follow-up question to that, because I accidentally made a segue to P2, is P2 then the longest dev process that either of you have probably worked on? Because it's been about 5 years or so?
Yeah, but I would say
P1 took 5 years as well. So
okay.
For a Tim Schafer game, this is about normal.
Yeah, and not all of us were on it from the like. I wasn't on P2 from the very beginning. We were still working on. I think we were still working on Rhombus.
Yeah, we were. Still working
that's
on
true. Yeah.
So we were in the Psychonauts world, but so we've actually been in the Psychonauts world now for a really long time. If you think about it,
it feels like a long time.
with Rhombus, and then going right into P2. That is a long time.
I didn't think about that, Ray. Yeah, now that you say that. It's
now that we're at that
like
point.
6 or 7 years of Psychonauts.
Yeah. It was kind of nice, though, to Rhombus was kind of nice to go into because it was a much shorter project, and it kind of allowed us to. I don't know how Tim feels about it, but it allowed us to kind of maybe get our feet wet a little bit in the Psychonauts world.
How did Rhombus feel as an animator? Because that's a slightly different concern. Like, because you have to communicate things a little bit differently in VR. How did that process end up feeling?
Yeah, it actually was a lot easier because we didn't have the platforming is really hard to get right, and it takes so much iteration, and so it was actually mostly more like cutscene animation.
Right.
You know, almost the entire thing.
So like,
you know,
performance and that sort of thing.
Yeah, little vignettes. So it was actually much easier to, as far as animation goes, it wasn't that bad. We were working with Unreal for the first time, so that was a bit of a deep learning curve. But as far as just strictly animation, it was quite a bit easier.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose making that switch to Unreal in the long term becomes very beneficial, because that's such a standardized thing at this point in terms of an engine to use and build off of, right?
Yeah.
So having that
definitely
familiarity.
It was scary, for sure. You know, when you've been working with something for so long and suddenly it's different, you know, that change can be like, ugh.
Well, because for a while, most of the stuff was in-house, kind of proprietary type of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, everything was, I mean, we used Maya, I mean, of course, and that's...
Yeah.
We still use that, but as far as getting things into the game and working, we all knew how to do it, and then suddenly we didn't know how to do it.
Yeah.
And we had to ship a game.
Yeah. No pressure at all.
Yeah, and a VR game, which we'd never done, but not many had done VR games back then either, so.
I think in some ways not many people have still done VR games, right? It's such...
Yeah.
Niche is not the right word, because it is more democratized now. There's more ways to experience VR. There's more headsets or things like that. But definitely at the time, it was less commonplace. And even now, it's not necessarily completely common.
Yeah. Yeah, I did all those emotional bags.
They're so long, Ray.
I know. I complain about it all the time. Those are way too long.
Did you really do all of them for this?
Yeah, for Psychonauts 1, yeah.
So I'm not just saying this to be a nice interviewer, but I do think, even if they're long, they are very adorable, and I'm sure our players would agree.
They're cute.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. But long.
They're a little briefer in the new game.
They are. Look at that, some Psychonauts 2 news for people in chat.
Did I just spoil something?
No.
Spoilers.
No one in here is able to spoil anything after Bagel was like, oh
no.
Jeez.
I don't want to know what he said.
It was nothing major, but it was very funny, right? We're all seasoned folks. Can I hit you? There we go. I couldn't hit. Well, not.
Nope.
I'm talking to the game. I'm not talking to you two. I'm not like, can I hit you?
Yeah, Peter Chan did the original concept art for these cubes.
They are lovely.
It was always exciting because back then it was all like hard copy. So we would, when the package would arrive, like the Peter Chan package would arrive. Do you remember that day? It would arrive in this. It was always in this FedEx envelope, and they'd rip it open, and then we'd just like look at all. It was just really fun to open those, and it was just kind of like a little birthday every couple months.
A little birthday.
Yeah, it was really fun, and we got a little bit of that on Rhombus of Ruin. I think he did send some hard copy, which was kind of fun to go back to that. But now, most people they just scan it and send it to you. But ripping those FedEx envelopes open was great.
And it's something you can post on the office wall later if you really wanted.
Yeah. Put it up on the wall.
I will eventually see the office, and I will eventually see most of you. Although, Ray, I don't believe I'll see you because you are You are very much remote now.
Yeah. Yep. I'm remote now, but you know, when things were normal, I would come back every few months and work in the office for a little while. So,
Yeah.
I hope to do that to some degree, and at least for events and stuff, I'll be sure to.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, that's very much. Who wants to miss a party? No one.
Yeah. Right. Especially on someone else's dime.
Yes, especially. Oh, I'm getting hit too much.
Oh my gosh, I remember these little guys, the exploding
Little exploding buddies.
Yeah, little bomb heads.
I remember when they came on. Here's another long one.
There
Long,
it is.
long.
Oh, man,
I
that's
just
a
got
long
hit.
shade, too.
I was admiring the animation and then luxuriated in it too much afterwards and got killed. So I blame that death on you, Ray.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, we should point out that the cutscenes, we had to pre-render them back there back then. So people probably already know this, but they don't. We can't up the resolution on them, so that's a little sad.
Yeah, if you're going back to the game now.
Yeah. It would take quite a bit of work to redo all those cutscenes.
And yet,
because
it's what we call a non-trivial amount of work.
they ask. One of the questions I get asked a lot of questions, and one of them is always Psychonauts remake, and then the other one is Brutal Legend 2.
Yeah, Brutal Legend 2. Yeah,
Brutal Legend 2 every day.
I'd get on that. I'd be on board.
Yeah.
Totally. But not everyone wanted to work in the world of heavy metal for 4 years.
Forever, yeah.
I was fine with it.
I want a couple years off before we start that.
Yeah. Gosh, I remember these. Didn't we have to animate these transitions, Dave? I can't remember how they rigged.
Sure they were all jointed. Yeah.
I think we rigged these cubes up.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because we didn't really have a way of doing it in the engine at the time, so we rigged them all up, and then I think the final, you know, geometry that you play on is maybe a different. It's not even the rig. It's probably just a different mesh.
Yeah.
Right.
Probably.
I need to shoot a thing. Oh, there's too many fellas. There's too many bad boys. Too many bad lads.
Oh, sensors.
I'm getting hit by so many lads, so many boys. I just accidentally blew myself up.
Yeah, this level's not my most. I actually love the boss fight in this level.
I do too.
More than I do the platforming on this level. And you'll get to the boss fight at some point, but
some point. Thank you for the confidence.
Yeah, no.
Oh, well,
it takes a while.
You'll get
so
to
many
it.
Sides.
Yeah.
Once all these emotional baggage cutscenes.
Yeah, once you get to those.
Yeah, there's just so many of them.
But I'll just bring this up. When I remember when we were testing this, I don't know if I'm going to be here when the boss fight happens, but when during the boss fight, you used to have, I think you had like unlimited side blast, and you could just blast as fast as you wanted to, and I loved it. Like I absolutely loved it. I thought it was the most fun. And then when they took that away from me, I was really sad.
Oh.
Because they were just like spawning hundreds of sensors, but you could just sit there and just blow them all away.
Just zap them all.
Yeah, it was really fun. Too much fun, I guess. I was having too much fun. So I had to
what are
bring
games?
the fun level there.
Too much fun. I guess we had to. Yeah, you don't want people to lose their bonkers.
Yeah, they can't lose their minds. Yeah, they have to. You have to bring it down.
There's like a 12, and you have to get it down to like an 8 or a 10.
Exactly.
If you're lucky. It's very scientific. We have a chart that we all refer to.
Too many lawsuits.
Yes.
Oh,
Now, who was responsible for this big fella?
Oh my gosh, was that you, Ray?
No, I think you modeled that.
Did I?
You don't remember?
Heather, yeah, it's just gone.
It's just entirely
Maybe it was
gone.
me. Yeah, I don't.
I think Dave did, and then the animation I think was Chris Schultz.
Chris Schultz did that. Yeah. Actually, I do remember. I think rigging it because he has all those jiggle joints in his belly.
The belly right there. Yeah.
Yeah. And Chris did a good job with those. He's so gross.
So gross. Raz might have done the materials on this one. I'm not sure. You guys may have talked about Raz a little bit.
We actually, believe it or not, we did not.
He did some materials. That's some point. But seeing all the veins and all the gross stuff, I thought maybe Raz did it, but yeah.
Oh, I just got.
Mark Hamer did some material work too.
Okay.
Because Hamer did, I remember, I'm sure most folks know this, but Raz, the character, did not exist when we first started making this game. It was this little blue guy with a very long stocking cap named D'Artagnan. And then we decided that it wasn't working out so well, so we got a new design from Scott, changed his name, and then I modeled him, and Mark Hamer and I went back and forth doing materials on him, because we were doing these normal maps and stuff, but it was all painted in Photoshop, so it was a lot of fun.
I need to partially focus on the boss fight, but yes, I love the stories. Don't worry.
Yeah, I remember when I used to love, because Dave's saying it's changed some now that the actual modelers will paint the materials and do the textures and stuff. But back then you wouldn't, and you'd send it off. You'd basically do the UV mapping, and then you'd send it off to one of the other artists. And I loved getting those. Do you remember when those would come back?
What it looked like? Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. It was just like, oh, that looks so good. Like, it was always fun to see what they had done with the materials.
Trying to find all these sensors.
Oh yeah.
I forgot that this is like a boss with like a gimmick.
The sensor
like a trick.
tubes.
For a minute I was like, I'm just gonna hit him. I'm just gonna hit him really hard. And the answer is no, you don't do that. That's not how it works.
Paul Dubois did all the. I think he did all like the crazy physics stuff on this.
Gravity.
All the relative gravity. That was really hard to get. I remember there used to be a bug where you could like jump and then you just start spinning the cube or something.
There's definitely a thing where you can, if you hit it right at the edge,
you can circumnavigate the cube.
I hear a person.
I hear someone.
Hello.
Hi everyone.
Who is this? Who do we have?
Is this Anna Kipnis? I was a gameplay programmer on the original Psychonauts.
A surprise appearance by Anna Kipnis.
Surprise! I was gonna say, didn't Tyler Hurd do a bunch of work on the giant sensor guy?
Maybe
Tyler did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe Tyler did it. It's all a blur, Anna.
Yeah, no, I remember him, him working on it for a long time, and it was super disgusting, and I just remember coming up to his desk and letting him know that it was super gross and big.
Glad you were here to remember that.
Now, Anna, for people at home who maybe don't know, what was your official role on this game?
So I was a gameplay programmer, and also I did the dialogue system for the characters. I've worked with Eric Wolp on that, so he was the writer and the programmer on the game, but I took it over after a while. I had also done, I did all kinds of stuff on the game, which is maybe not traditionally the gameplay programmer's role.
Right.
But so we had little strike teams. You probably talked about this already, but so we had a world builder, a gameplay programmer, and usually, we shared the shared resources were, of course, the animators and the sound people, and just basically everyone else had to be sort of everyone had animations for their levels, and we'd request stuff, and I worked very closely with Rusty on all of this stuff too. So I specifically did a lot of work with basic braining, which was that first level with Coach. I was responsible for the Milkman level and for large swaths of the hub for camp.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
When we were doing basic braining, we had Jeff on to talk about that.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, it was perfect.
Yeah, that level got rebuilt something like 5 times. I'm sure he mentioned that.
He mentioned. He said that there were a couple of pieces that remained, but a fair few things that were eventually cut.
Yeah, funny thing is that, do you remember that log, that little log, what is it, the thing that rotated?
Yeah.
And it had, that actually, at least the code part, was completely untouched. So from the time that I got it, it magically worked, and I remember trying to actually changed something on it once, and everything broke horribly, and I reverted immediately. So I was just like, I'm not touching this code. It's like perfect. Or it's not perfect, but it's perfect for what we wanted to do.
That makes me think. I've seen, everybody, programmers mark some of their code sometimes with comments, and I remember one of my favorite ones is from Valve. Comment, I think maybe it's Half-Life 2, and it just says, "This shouldn't work, but it does." And sometimes that's what it is. You're like, I don't know what this is, but it's working, so we'll leave it and we won't touch it.
Yeah. It got, I mean, it got prettied up from the time, when we first. So when I started, I worked on this game for about 2.5 years, and actually, I think except for Malena, Rusty was here before me, Ray was here before me, but some of the game was already built at the time, but it was mostly redone after we joined. But that was the one spot in the whole level that had been rebuilt so many times, which we never, or at least on the code side, never modified. The other is, of course, the whole team kind of worked on Black Velvetopia, and what else? Hey guys, what else did I work on? Oh, I did some stuff for Waterloo World. I did a lot of the cutscenes. You know what's funny is that a lot of the in-game cutscenes the gameplay programmers did, and then some animators went over them to kind of touch them up.
Okay.
But that was, I didn't realize this, but that was pretty unusual, and it was like one of the funnest things that I think I got to do on the game.
I think a comment I hear a lot talking to folks very often so far has been, that's not really how you would usually do it, but that's how we did it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's because thanks to Rusty and Rand, like all the animators, they had created a bunch of animations that were kind of like a library of poses and little things, and so we had a tool that we were able to reuse some of the animations. So we had the variations on the talk animation where Raz would kind of gesticulate and things like that.
Right.
We had a few blend shapes that were we had like this.
A lot of blend shapes.
Yeah. Well, like our favorite one, the one where you guys went through and you took out a lot of it, was that grimace. It's like that. There's an emoticon of that. It's like baring like teeth, sort of like yee, like that kind of expression. Key and I. You took some of them out because we just overdid it. I mean, it became a joke with Key and me where we would try to put them in as many cutscenes as possible.
Of him just going,
yeah, like E. They kind of it was a great reaction. It just worked in so many circumstances. But yeah.
So I guess the other thing that I'll ask is another thing that I've asked everybody pretty much, which is, what is your earliest memory of working on this game, so we can preserve it for the world?
My earliest, when I first started, I worked on Boyd and the ranting that Boyd does. So it was like my first assignment, and I remember Tim brought me this little worksheet that had like the defined kind of how his speech was going to be put together. Like Tim didn't want him to repeat any sentence basically, and so he would have these kind of paranoid rantings about various things, various topics, and none of it was supposed to make sense. And so Tim and I devised a system where there would be like a couple of things you could choose from each sentence would be made up of little phrases, like
right.
This perpetrator is victimizing this thing, and you would just choose something from the column by doing this, and then there would be like a little explanation for what they were doing, and then there would be like just a non sequitur phrase. What was really interesting is the voice actor for Boyd was just this incredible, just so good. Like I got really spoiled working at Double Fine with voice acting. Like they just hired all the best people. But this guy, so he recorded 2 versions of each line for Boyd. One was very like quiet and like the conspiratorial and like kind of dangerous sounding, and then it'd be like, I am freaking out, like, and so every single word, every single phrase was recorded in these two alternatives, and Tim loved both of them, and they were both wonderful. And so we decided to use both of them. But the problem is that they don't blend well together. And so I actually made it work by inserting these little coughs and like and so like the audio kind of it just worked. It sounded even more kind of unhinged, I think, like with the two combined, and it was randomly done. And it was actually one of the proudest moments that I had in the game is the fact that when I completed it, it never had to be modified. And I think a lot of the credit here has to go to Malena as well.
Yes.
Because the localization, like the fact that it just worked, and all, the figs, the e-figs was like with the name of it. It's English, French, Italian, German, and Spanish. Yeah, and so in all of those languages, she gave directions to the localizers in a way where it just worked. And this is very difficult, of course, because, some of those languages are gendered, and they had to figure it out. But she kind of just, she pulled it off. It was amazing.
Let's see if I can pull this off. Because you mentioned Malena, we have somebody waiting in the wings. Are you there? Was that a cue? Hello? Say hi. Hi.
Malena!
It's Malena.
Hi. Hi.
Malena, could you introduce yourself for everybody at home?
Hi, my name is Malena, and I have been at Double Fine since we were working on this game. I was an associate producer, and I sort of made voice and localization my thing, because I recognized that Double Fine was known for witty humor and dialogue, and it needed some extra special care. And there were people like Anna and Key who also really championed that. And I really feel like we were this triumvirate of people that just made sure that all of Tim's humor was able to, make it into the final product in all of the languages.
Yes. It's very good, and I think maybe Ray and Rusty have snuck off, but I will say, if y'all want to sneak it back in again,
we're still here.
Okay,
we're
good.
Still here.
We can. This can be a giant party. It's totally fine. The biggest party of all.
I just like hearing Anna talk. I don't get to see her anymore.
Me too.
The Boyd stuff was incredibly compelling, so it's so interesting. Just sit here and listen, because I don't know any of this. I was a writer. Like, you're talking about programming and all these things. Like, to me, that's magic, right? The same thing that I told Scott and Bagel.
We still think that. We think that too.
Yeah. Well, I told Scott and Bagel too, because I can't draw or anything. Like, all of it seems like magic to me. The way that it all comes together to make something, whether that's programming or like drawing or animation, because like my world is all words. And anything else that moves and make noise and is bright or whatever, I get very excited. So everything that all of you have done is amazing. But Malena, if you're still there, we've been asking people for early memories of their experiences on the game. Do you remember what your earliest memory for this game was?
Yeah, I started, and I was pretty much told that nobody had been paying attention to voice.
Yes.
And it was just this like giant mess. Like it was sort of like a hoarder's house full of and it's not that like to accuse anyone of like being I don't know, maliciously messy. It's just that everybody sort of did their one little thing with voice, and like we didn't have a consistent file naming convention for the files. We had a mix of Pro and Scratch.
Yes.
We were all just like in a big pile, and so I had to listen to everything and just make sure that, was this really Stephen Stanton as Sasha 9, or was this John Stone, who is one of the programmers? Because they sound remarkably alike.
Okay.
And just having to organize all of that, and then from there, it was, that was my first window into the game. So I'm listening to these voice files out of context, and then I have to go back and find out if it's still legit, because so many things in the game had changed. And so, then sort of, I liken my job to being that of a detective. There are so many things you sort of follow a little lead, and it takes you to someplace else, and you get a little piece of data, and then you like string that together, and then at the end of the day, you maybe have solved one problem. And that it was great fun. the people at Double Fine are just so lovely, and it was this amazing mentality of there was no us versus them. It was just everybody working together to create this thing that I feel is greater than the sum of its parts. You know, we were all so passionate about what we did, and nobody was fettered, nobody was held back to say you can't do that because that's not your job. It was like, no, oh, you have an idea about how to make this better, cool, go for it. And I think that's why I've never left, because it's amazing.
You mention us versus them, and you mention I don't want to call anybody out or whatever, but I will say, Malena, it's been decades. So if you want to call anyone out right now and start some beef right here, right now, that's totally fine, and we can have a throwdown with whoever, and you'll beat them up.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
No. I think it's just, you know, people not thinking, oh, maybe we should have a filing convention because then that will help us later, you know? Like,
I can go into some of this because I was one of the people who, okay, well, we had, let me just like back Malena up, we had no process for this. And in fact, like the programmers weren't aware of some of the things that were going on the recording side. So as an example, you know, so we would have, thank God for Chris Brown, who actually had some means of organizing, you know, like what the lines were each going to be called. She just assigned these codes to them. But the problem was,
that came from our database.
No. Back in the day,
then.
it was before that. It was Chris Brown. She was the one who kind of started that, and we just took it and adapted it to our own needs. But yeah, before the database, there was Chris Brown and her codes. But the problem is that the code was, you know, like sometimes actors will improvise, so the original written down line would not correspond anymore at all.
Sure.
Or sometimes Tim would change the line, or sometimes there would be an alternative reading. So there would be multiple, you know, like the example I had for Boyd, where it was just read in this conspiratorial and then this kind of like crazy unhinged way. And you know, the line codes, like the original line was written the same way, and now you have two of the same line. Like,
Yeah.
what code do you assign to them? Like, none of that was accounted for. And then we started scratch recording, and the file names we gave the lines for that were the same as the originals, and so of course Malena had to like look. Yeah, and so it was one of these things where we kind of learn on the job. We learn what not to do. Which and by the way, in the code, the programmers were putting in text, and we had this stupid convention, which just like, don't do this if you're a game developer listening. Don't put text in the game, because the line will change. Like Tim will decide like, oh, you know what, this is not going to work anymore, or maybe there's a reason, like a game mechanic changed and like these lines had to be completely rewritten or just like tweaked in some small ways, or now there's maybe you know, multiple takes. Which take are you going to use? You have the text of the line, what, you know, it doesn't specify anything about which take you want to like have in there, right? And so there had to be, I just remember there was this like 2 or 3 weeks where Malena worked like 90 hours to try to make sense of all of this. Yeah, no, it was like, she's really being kind about how crazy that process was. I know it's like enjoyable to listen to these lines and everything, but it was a lot of work to untangle the mess. And also Malena, I will credit her for figuring out as well all of these pitfalls, like where the process that we had could go wrong, completely awry. And so she documented all of this, and like finally there's a talk that I give about the system that we ended up with as a result of the like learning the hard way. But Malena definitely had a lot of insight. Like she was the one who figured out, you know, how we should do things. So that we didn't have the horrible mess that we had in this game. It's a miracle that we managed to climb out of it, and I credit her completely because it was, you would not believe what a mess it was. Like it was just insane. It was insane. Do not do what we did.
I can't take all the credit, Anna. We all work together. And I will say, you know, that even in the depths of despair and madness, the fact that we were able to have fun with it, to say, okay, here's how we're going to find all the hard-coded text. I know, let's just put everything into leet speak. And I know everybody thinks that was a fun Easter egg, but oh my God, if we hadn't done that, we would have been dead. It was necessary.
We actually, that's the very first language for every game since then. I think every single game has a lead speak version in it because it tests out the, you know, quote unquote other languages we might want to translate everything into. That's something I didn't have in my talk. I should totally add that if I ever give it again.
I don't know if we still have that, but we can.
Yeah.
We probably should have done it for this one too.
Oh no, we didn't do it. Aw, okay.
Just making sure I got this. I got it. Well, I didn't even need to use the float. There we go. Look at that. I'm so good at the game. I didn't have to do what the game told me.
I have a story about this level. This is like one of the funniest things about the game. Do you guys know about the demon room?
I do. Yes.
Okay, so in the demon room, it's like the personal demons is kind of the metaphor, and it's this room where the characters' darkest secrets are whispered in this very frightening way. Like, Mila, why did you let us die? Like, Mila's backstory, hopefully this isn't much of a spoiler, is that she was at an orphanage. She worked at an orphanage before this, and the orphanage burned down. Dark, very dark.
Psychonauts with dark stuff in it? No, never.
Yeah, and so she has in this very happy, like, groove is in the heart inspired, you know, world. She has this personal demons room, and we had this new programmer who joined. His name is Joe Verskis. I think it was his first week, and he was assigned, you know, this level to work on. And he was like really, you know, trying to prove himself. So he was working late one night. And there was a sound bug in the game at the time where all of a sudden 3D sounds would start to play as 2D. And so if you triggered a sound somewhere in the, like, which there's a personal demon room, if you triggered the sound there and then left, the sound from that room would keep playing.
Oh. So,
yeah.
So he's just stuck with demon voices.
Yes, and so he tripped, like, the trigger valve. There's a bug, the trigger valve. It was like the perfect, like, you know, the perfect brew of, like, all these terrible things happening, like, kind of combining all at once. And he tripped the trigger volume that was too large. So he'd never seen the demon room, but he hit the trigger volume by accident. And then was in, like, this one of these, like, beautiful, like, you know, happy and, like, you know, like Mila's super cheerful voice, and then there's this whispering in the back, like, Mila, why did you let us die? Like, just super super frightening stuff. And he just took off his headphones, like there was nobody in the office. He ran around the entire office, like just checked to see if there was anybody there, checked to see if there was like something else on his computer, and he kept hearing it. Like as we went back to the game, it was still happening, and he basically like kind of thought he was losing his mind. And so the next day he came in, and I remember he was just like really sheepishly asking us like, hey everyone, I was just wondering if there was like there's like some weird whispering in the game. And we were all like, no, what? No, like, because we were genuinely like, what whispering? Like, and he was like, oh, okay.
Oh no.
He just went back. And then I don't remember who it was, like someone remembers, like, oh wait, do you mean the demon room? And he's like, what demon room? Because he had no idea that this was actually, this was a thing, that it was like the game actually was this dark. There was a lot of, I think, content in the game, and even though he had played a bunch of it, he didn't realize that this was like a little Easter egg in each level. And then he told us the story about how freaked out he got.
Yeah, in my brain, even you say Easter egg, and I go, I don't even remember where the demon room is, which is I feel bad admitting, because there's probably someone on YouTube now going, why doesn't Heather know the game. Why doesn't she? But I mean, like, some of that is like, those are things sometimes where I've seen, you know, some players, when they learn about that, especially Mia's, they, oh, I fell. They're surprised, right? Because sometimes they don't find that room even.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's, I think this is actually a common theme, and I don't know if animator, I think all of us kind of were hit by this, is that there was a lot of content that went into the game that wasn't critical path, as it were.
Right.
And this was, you know, at a time when, you know, platformers were fairly simple things. Like they weren't supposed to have any story or anything, like, you know, like anything that the player wasn't likely to find or to see, you know, in a single playthrough. But there was a ton of this stuff in Psychonauts. And we were just like, I remember being really like frustrated, like, you know, Tim, what are you doing? Like, no one's gonna see this,
Oh,
like,
actually,
cool thing.
you know what? I think I forgot. Yeah, it's actually right over here, I believe.
Oh, the demon, yeah.
Yeah.
So I've run some numbers on Tim's scripts to find out how much is critical path and how much is not critical path, but I would say is some of the most enjoyable stuff. And it's about a 20-80 split. So it's 20% is critical path and 80% is all of the stuff that people like Double Fine for.
Yes, that I can find, of course. And then they also get this, which is, hey, Scott, can you draw, once again, incredibly sad stuff for us?
Yeah.
But also, it's like, it's really effective. It's really, it's finding out more about characters through exploration and gameplay is very cool, and I think something that this game does well.
Yeah,
This is the room, yeah.
Yeah, so this is, if y'all can hear the whispering right now.
Yeah. So this is what he was...
Yes.
This is what he was hearing, and then all of you were like, no, what are you talking about?
What? Yeah, we're whispering. Yeah, here we go. Oh, God.
Oh, wow. It's almost... That second part of it, like, I know it's genuinely all of you being like, we don't know what you're talking about because, like, we think you're referring to something differently, but it almost seems a little, like hazy of, like, let's not tell the new guy, let's not tell the new guy about the evil demon room. There we go.
Well, yeah.
I knew it was somewhere close. That's right. It was right over there.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm really happy you found it. Thank you for that.
I was like, it's this room or like one of the other really big ones. I was like, in my brain, I was like, maybe it's off to the side when you go down like all the slide stuff. But no, it's right there. Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, luckily he also found the bug, which is that apparently, you know, I think he probably just grazed the wall without actually going into the room and tripped the
hit the
noise.
volume. Yeah. Here we go. Very good.
Yeah, Anna kind of touched on this, but I think a lot of us didn't understand the importance of all those little moments that probably, you know, 80% of the people may not even see that play the game. Especially when we were working late and we were just like, why do we have to do this? Like, no one's gonna see it. But once it all was together,
I'm just gonna hit this thing for the giggles.
Then you realize that they're actually key to a game, especially a game that Tim makes.
It's definitely interesting to have that stuff to the side because I know other game developers on other games have talked about even things that wouldn't seem very optional. So like I think Mass Effect folks have said that like 90% of their players played it as good, right? And like a very small percent played it as like the renegade option, right? But they still have that content in there, and we still have these rooms in here.
Yeah, I mean, I think we were. I mean, I would say that the most crazy of all of those was the fact that the Pokelope thing. Does everyone remember this? Like, if you instead of taking Pokelope and walking like 5 paces and hitting interact on this other character to progress the game, if instead you turn all the way around, you go down all the way down the tower again, like, you know, there's some difficult parts in there. So like the fact that someone would actually go through the trouble of this and then make it all the way back to camp and then decide to show Pokelope like pull it out of the inventory of the many items that are in there and show it to some of the kids that were hanging out, and see a special reaction to that. Like I remember thinking like, no one is going to see this, no one will ever see this, but people did. People found it, and I think, you know, and the fact that they found it and it felt to them like, oh my god, I really did not expect anything to happen when they showed this little turtle to this kid. I think to them it was that was the most wonderful part of the game, is that we actually, you know, had something for them.
Right.
I mean, go ahead, Tim.
Oh, it's the appearance of the one and only Mr. Tim Schafer. This is like a huge party. There's so many people.
I was just popped in right in time to hear Anna talk about. Don't forget how mad you were about that.
I was super mad. I had to work real late, and I was mad.
Hey, Wally probably was. You know, would we do that again? I don't know.
I mean,
crazy.
I think we would want to do a lot of things like that, but maybe nothing quite that. Maybe not something that rare. I don't know. It was. I fully admit, in the end, Tim, here I am. I don't know if I've ever admitted this to you. It was worth it.
Oh.
You were right.
I'm showing everybody the happy revolt.
It was terrible. We were terrible as far as making people work at night. So we all have our lessons learned from that. Yeah.
It was still fun. I still
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
Back and
I
forth.
Yeah,
mean-
it's always fun. It's fun to do that once.
I wouldn't want to do it again, but
No.
it was a good
Yeah.
experience. I've never been like bitter about it, but maybe I did. I mean, I did have one kid then, so maybe Priscilla's bitter about it. But
But you're like, I'll have more. I'll have
Yeah.
more.
I guess Priscilla's bitter, but not you.
yeah, not me.
Oh, am I watching the right stream? Are we in Mia's right now?
We are in me.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
This is where we tutorialize this thing that never happens in the game, which is the bubble protects you from. I don't think we ever actually used that in the game, but we do it in the second game.
The protection when you're doing the levitation.
Like, do we
From
ever use
electricity.
You're
do we
right. I
use
don't
that in
think-
the game? Do we roll over fire or electricity in the game?
No,
It's like
I
a
don't think
great
so.
disc set up to show this thing that never happens, but it's forward-looking.
I mean, it does help reestablish the water stuff with Raz. Once
Yeah, I
again.
mean,
nothing-
Tim, you
nothing
should just say that this was a Easter egg preview of Psychonauts 2.
No, spikes. Ow.
Why am I jumping on the spikes? Get off here. I'm trying to hit the right
Oh,
buttons.
and the
Eric does say that we used it in the asylum a bit, so I think we used those green bubbles maybe in the asylum.
Wait, where's Eric lurking?
Eric's
He's in the chat.
Hi, Eric. Wait,
He's
which Eric?
You're
Good
in
Eric or bad
asylum?
Eric?
Who's good and who's bad?
Eric Robson.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
They're all
They're
good.
all good Erics.
I mean, my ongoing joke here is that I just want to start beef. I want beef to start.
Yeah,
want people
you're
to
here
throw
for the
down.
drama.
Everybody-
I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make games.
You know, Malena was coming in here as a sweetheart, you know, talking up everybody. Everybody's been so nice to each other. Everyone's like, Double Fine's so nice, and I want to start some beef.
Yeah, Melina
Yeah.
would not throw the programmers under the bus, so I threw us under the bus for her.
That's teamwork. See?
Oh,
Yeah.
I fell.
You know? Oh no.
Oh, well, it's because I'm listening to everyone.
Oh man.
How many folks were then involved with Mia's in particular? Were any of you doing any animations on this level, like Ray
Yeah.
or Rusty or any of you?
Yeah, by that time I think Ray and I were both animating as well, because I remember animating some of the background dancers.
Oh, nice.
And I actually did animate to "Groove Is in the Heart," and I still hear that song to this day and smile
Yep,
because
yep, yep.
Aw.
it's such a good song to animate a dance to. Because it had the appropriate beats per minute that Peter's music was going to have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember, Tim, do you remember how you hired Tyler Hurd? He was an intern initially. And then he animated some dances, and on the dances alone, you were like, we're hiring this person. Look at
Well,
it.
it was. I remember what it was. It was the first, like when you talk to Mia and she's dancing on the TV. She's like, "Hello, welcome to the level," and I was like, "Oh my god, that's so good." Yeah,
Yeah.
so much personality. He really
Yeah.
just kind of created Mia's personality almost in that.
Yeah.
And here Anna programmed this with
Me?
You and Eric do this
No,
together?
no, it was. I think it was mostly Eric, and then eventually Eric he was like swamped with writing stuff, so Joe took this over. Joe Verskus.
Hmm.
I did a little bit of work here, but I'm foggy on it, so I probably didn't spend all that much time on it.
And this was the first level that had Raz animating, I think. I think Raz, the actual human being Raz.
Oh,
I stole
yeah.
the name
Yes.
from.
Oh.
He animated dancers dancing as well, or bouncing on trampolines. I think it was a dance to
We
bounce
all
on
might have
trampoline.
had at least one person dancing.
I always forget to go on the side path. You really gotta get. You did it.
I got it. I saw a YouTube comment that was like, Heather's not good at this game, and I cried.
What?
I
Oh,
cried. I
what?
cried on the inside because they're not entirely wrong, but also.
Well, it depends how you define good. Are you trying to? What are you trying to do?
Oh, I fell
You're-
there.
I
You're
really
better
don't
than I
know.
am.
One. Oh
You're
no!
better than
Don't
I
go
am.
down here! Don't go down here! Oh.
No, I'm
that's
fine. I'm
side
fine.
path.
Wow, look at
It's
that.
totally fine.
Jeez. You're way better than I am.
I missed the side path. Oh, you missed the side path.
path.
All right.
Better
Here we
than
go.
San Francisco Rush.
I'm gonna miss these up top though. The
You
little
gotta
You
side
got
flow.
paper
to
things.
side flow to him.
How soon?
you beat-
How quickly did you know that you wanted like a race in this level? Because that's essentially
don't
what
know.
this is.
I don't know if I ever wanted to race. I don't know how this happened. Does anyone remember how this happened?
You probably just got some concept art from
Honestly,
Peter.
no.
Peter probably just
We were
drew
trying to
something.
think of like things that are fun to do on the ball because the ball was new.
Yeah.
We just
Right.
did
Yeah.
that and everything. These little half pipe type things and these tubes you went down and then the race. It's interesting. I don't remember exactly where that came from. I love these bubbles.
You remember how the interactive screens, you know, when you're going from, they used to take a lot longer to load, and so you could actually like fly a Raz around.
Yeah.
But now, but now,
Oh, now it's like
everything-
instant. Yeah.
Everything loads so fast you don't ever fly Raz around anymore.
Yep. In my day. I've always loved the what do you call it, the topology here, like the way this groove always feels. But at the end, it comes to a little shallow point, and sometimes sorry. I think I've spent a lot of time in this room.
Oh,
I
it's
think
good.
a lot of the level, like the little mechanics in each level, what would often happen is this little strike team would have brainstorms about, okay, so this is the central power that's being introduced. What would be a really fun thing to do? And little thought was put into how much custom content it would require to actually pull it off. But I think that's kind of what makes the games feel so special, is that every single mental world level, like, you know, so this level in particular, like, really just focuses on this one power. And of course it's like, well, of course you wouldn't want to overburden the student in teaching them levitation by throwing in all these other crazy things, right? But then there are levels like Lungfishopolis, like Milkman, or like Waterloo World that just completely, I mean, the whole movement set changes. The relative gravity stuff is particularly, you know, kind of crazy in Milkman. And in Black Velvet, everything just looks really, you know, wonderfully crazy and different. There's like this mechanic of paintings turning into real life and stuff. And like, this is kind of what I think most proud of with this game. And I think this was fairly new. Is just how much work we put into every single thing just to make it feel like this is a faithful representation of this person's mind, and also kind of, you know, suits the design goals of whatever we were kind of trying to accomplish or convey, like what this power could do. And like Tim pointed out, some of those things never even made it anywhere else in the game, like, you know, the fact that you can ride over fire and stuff like that on the ball and it wouldn't hurt you. I'm not sure if that was actually used, but still kind of cool. I mean, it is used in Psychonauts too, and that was the whole purpose of that room.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it was a big long con.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. The con being fun.
The con being fun. Yes.
Yeah.
We tricked you all into having a good time 20
In the
years
future.
later in the future.
We were like, yeah, great, this game will be fun for a couple of years, but what about 20 years from now? What are they?
Logan's not in the lab, sweetie. He's watching TV in the lounge.
We're going to keep on going, I think, because we have so many wonderful people here. Because I think technically on my planning list, I think I was only going to go up to Mia's, but we have so many people that we can just chill and vibe for as long as we want, really. Unless people are like, I have to go
Who's hiding on this call? it
We
Anna and Ray and Rusty?
We also have
And
Melina
Oh,
lurking.
Melina's still here too.
I haven't
I'm
heard a
here.
word from
She's
Melina.
here.
There you are. Hi.
Hi. No, I was talking before you joined.
I know, and then I said, please be quiet. I like to talk a lot.
And then he stole the show. Literally stole
All
it.
good, Tim.
I remember when we got this in, how excited I was to see this working.
Oh, the boat.
Yeah,
What,
just
canoeing?
cruising around. Yeah, the canoeing.
Well, I feel like that's such an essential summer camp activity,
It-
right?
It still bothers me that water comes through the bottom of the canoe once in a while.
Oh,
leaky
yeah.
canoe,
If
you
I
ever-
kind of turn, maybe we can see it. Yeah, a little bit.
Classic canoes in summer camp are always leaky, right?
So
Yeah.
I knew that I loved this game. I'd only been at the company for a few short months, but I started dreaming about the campgrounds, and they were good, happy dreams. And so I knew I had found a good spot at Double Fine when I
So-
knew that I could dream about it and run around in the campgrounds in my dreams, and it felt really awesome.
Tim, do you remember we went down? I was looking at the seagulls. Remember we went down and took seagull reference with your video
Yeah,
camera?
we were really into that one piece of reference. I don't think there's anything we ever took a field trip to reference. I mean, a few things, a couple
Yeah.
things, but we went down to the pier and like videotaped seagulls
Yeah, and
just
had
to make
had,
that death animation work.
yeah, had hamburgers at Red's, and then
Okay.
I think that was mainly why we went. I don't know if it was really for the seagulls.
Yeah.
Just went for the hamburgers.
The seagulls do look great though.
They're very good
There's
Yeah.
a
seagulls.
there's a fun side path up in those hills. It has like a cougar in a cave. You know?
You always seem to try to get me killed when I'm playing because you're like,
Hey,
"There-
did I say cougar? I meant there's a fun little cave up
there's
there
a fun
with-
cave there. Don't worry
Yeah.
about the bears. You're totally fine. Like
That's right.
so
I walked
far,
into that bear last night. I was like, there's no bears in the daytime.
you're like, there's no bears in the woods in the daytime, and there's absolutely bears in the woods in the daytime. I was
I
tricked.
think there's more bears. And, oh, you found this camera.
Yeah. Psychonauts comic number 1.
Oh, look at that one.
Wait, is Psychonauts comic different than True Psychic Tales? I hope so.
It must be.
It must be.
It must be. Yeah, True Psychic Tales is a what did he say?
It's a
I forgot it,
nonfiction
right?
periodical.
Yeah.
It's
A
a
nonfiction periodical. I just lit that scene.
Yeah.
Gosh, I can't remember what he
There's
said.
one more word in there though.
Oh,
It's
did
a
I miss it?
nonfiction
Yeah, there's something else in there.
graphic.
I
Big
missed
graphic
one of the
reel.
bars there. Or at least I think those are bars that you can grab onto. They better be.
Sometimes it's hard to tell in this. Yeah. Sometimes they
Okay.
look like bars.
These are definitely because they're big enough. But the other ones looked like it, so I'm gonna do it and see.
Oh, look how that leaf spawned off that
I-
branch when you got on
And,
it.
it,
Remember
and,
that
it's
one?
and it's animated. You remember the little animations that play at when he lands on it? When he grabs it, you'll see a little
I
animation.
remember the
play.
first one we had was next to Boyd. There's one single branch in Boyd's, and you jump on it, and a leaf falls off. And I was like, "Oh, we're making a game now. Look at that."
Yeah, look
Yeah,
at these are totally things you
Yeah.
can
There we go.
can do
There we
that.
go.
Lovely. Side path, side cards. I have to buy all sorts of stuff. It is a game full
never-
of collectibles.
I've never gotten 100% on this game actually.
That's
Never.
every person who
101.
hops into our chat is
Yeah.
like, "Is this a 100% run?" I'm like, "Oh my goodness, there's so
I've
much
never done
stuff.
it.
No way."
You should
gonna
always
do it
correct
till
them.
you
This
get
is a 101% run, because that is.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
That's true.
Can I
Wait,
go over there? No,
Sam.
there's an
don't
invisible
think you
wall
can go
blocking
there.
me.
Yeah.
Ah, dang.
Where's the cougar cave?
I don't know.
Oh, you're.
I
Maybe you have to
bounced
get
on
to it from the
down.
building.
I bounced off down from a invisible wall. Oh, maybe this way. I
Oh,
think. Like if I was gonna bounce up here.
I think it's over that house, over the boathouse.
Over the boathouse.
Well, the boat.
Oh, you go up the ladder? You go up the ladder and then on the roof?
Maybe. Is it?
You
I
really
mean,
skewed
there's a
the
roof path. There's definitely a roof path.
Oh, there's a net there. So I think I see what you're talking about. Will Bobby Zilch let me pass? Bobby Zilch.
I don't-
Tim, did you model
Yeah.
Bobby Zilch off anybody you knew from real life? Is this-
Well, I didn't think I did, but wait, someone's calling my name. Oh, excuse me, 1 second. Wait, I'll
Oh.
be right back.
That sounds really dramatic. It's Bobby Zilch. He found him. He was about to dish all the dirt.
Wait, did you
Ooh,
see the
that's-
notice board?
I can.
What?
Oh yeah, I can go over to it.
I'm just curious what where everyone is. Like, so we divided it all up into states. There's different.
Don't know how it happened.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
because of all the camp kids.
Mhm.
Friends, Elton, all these little things.
I have your last homework assignment. If you want to meet me sometime, I can give it to you.
Did we talk about how Tim kind of developed these characters? Is anyone remember Friendster?
Oh,
This is, like,
because there's the fake
Facebook.
one, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So before, but he actually, this is back in the day, he genuinely made profiles for them on Friendster.
Yes.
Ah,
The fake version
Oh,
was
Friendster.
Campster.
Fake friend.
Yeah.
We did it. Kelly and I did it on MySpace. We did real ones there.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And then, yeah, so after, like, so I think, like, it went through a few iterations because the social media companies kept going down. And so finally, it was immortalized on Campster, which is still up.
Yeah, that's the one that Chris Remo made. out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
But
I
that-
remember being mad at Tim when he did that
Why?
Friendster thing, because you're supposed to be writing dialogue.
I know that was the
And-
compromise. It was like
and-
I'm writing dialogue and I'm on Friendster all the time.
I can't,
Yeah, we were waiting, and then this Friendster thing shows up. And we're like, what? Where's all the dialogue?
I can't get up on these rocks. It's tragic. Somebody's asking if Psychonauts takes place in the 2000s, but isn't it
We're
technically?
looking at it, and we're
yeah.
like, Scott reminded me that we kind of thought of it as being 80s and that because we wanted cassette tapes around.
Right.
I think that was the main impetus. We wanted cassette tapes. By your earlier question before the plumber came into my room to tell me that the horrible clog was gone. I did not think Bobby was based on anyone, but I was telling someone something about when I was in 6th grade, and there was this bully that used to pick on us. His name was Bobby, and someone said Bobby, like Bobby Zilch, Psychonauts, and I was like, what?
Oh wow.
So it's like subconsciously I might have, but he didn't have that much hair.
Was it red, though?
No, but
It-
that wasn't the part I was in charge of. That was Scott. So probably Scott
Ah.
just
Left all their stuff.
had big
Any-
hair.
And he never did the
No, that's my cousin. That's my cousin Tommy who did that. Whenever we went to camp, and whenever he climbed up on a big rock, he'd be like, "Look at us!" He'd
Yeah.
do it. And then I recently saw him at a family reunion, and I told him that I had immortalized him in this game, and I did the little dance. And he goes, "That's wrong. You're not doing it right." And then he did it. I told the story last time, didn't I? But
That's
anyway, he
fine.
did it. It's like instead of 2 hands, like a Mick Jagger thing, he had it like 2 fists. And I think Raz has one like a rooster head kind of hand.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and my cousin Tommy said it was 2 fists, which I think ours is better. But now he can't sue us. We changed it to transformative.
Yes. This is a different. It's a slightly different one, so that's how it
Take
ends up
that,
working out.
cousin. Take that.
Than you can imagine.
So this is dark, right?
No.
This is the one where
Kidding.
The poison
More
one.
beautiful
this is
afterwards.
no. This they're about. Where are they about to jump off?
I think they're gonna mix poison.
When we finish
And we've done what we're going to do.
look like ants.
I think they were just gonna
Oh,
do a
and
really
we-
special cheer. The final cheer.
They are ants. This is it's going places. This is definitely going places.
But then the lungfish catches them.
They will
And takes their brains out and fixes them.
Hey, is that Nils down there with Chloe?
This is before
That's
Different
a
times.
lot of
Different times.
different times. A lot of horrible
Gotta
things.
tell
All
Elka.
this stuff is
What's the
more hilarious,
point?
I think.
I guess soon there won't be much point to any of this.
We got
will
distracted
there?
from her suicide attempt by
Project.
Finished the project.
romantic drama.
There's so much stuff going on. There's so many subplots, so many little things.
Yeah. I really love the campground. It's like a joy to run around. And,
Anything new?
You guys remember the Thanksgiving we were at your house, Tim, and John Stone showed us shadows for the first time
Yeah.
in the engine?
That's it for now.
Yeah,
in this
our
room.
game looked so
Yeah.
bad for a long time, and we're like, everything was fully lit. Everything, like, every surface was the same brightness, and then John Stone baked in lighting and all of a sudden things had texture and curves and stuff, and it was like, oh my, so much better. And then the leaf animated, and then we were like, well, we're basically done.
Yeah, that's all you need for a game is an animated leaf.
And now we just stick some jokes in there, and we're finished. End credits.
I rolled
Oh, you're
downhill
going fast.
very
No, really
fast. Yeah, that was my reaction too. I was like, this is quite quite quick. I'm looking for one of
Didn't we
the.
do this area last time we were playing? Have you gotten anywhere?
Yes. What? You saw me, Tim. You saw me in Mia's.
You're doing 100%. You're doing 100% run. Is that what you're taking?
No, I need to go. I need to go and talk to Ford. I believe.
No, you're doing great.
Is
You're
my
doing
next
great.
step.
Yes,
Ah,
I'm just trying to encourage you.
just my heart doing leaps. Just going. Tim Schafer making fun of me.
I remember for so long when you'd go on the cart, remember, and you just sit there and the cart would take off.
Yeah.
That bug just sat there forever, and so you just stay and the cart would leave.
Oh, the cart would sort of animate and Raz would kind
Raz
of
would
stay.
stay.
Rad would never go. Yeah. Sometimes there's just a bug that we just kind of tolerate for months and months and months.
It's known shippable. It's fine.
It's like we talk about a record or a CD that has a skip in it, and you get used to that one part of the song where you have to punch the radio and like
Yeah.
stuff. And then you always hear the song that way. Every time you hear that part of the song, you're like, oh. Well, Anna.
I was just gonna say it does slowly wear you down.
Oh, there's a glitch in this where you can get the trash bin stuck on Ford and you soft lock the game.
Do it.
Oh,
Do
I
it.
don't know how to, but I've had a couple people in our community be like, do you know about this? And I was like, yeah, I think it's still a thing that you might be able to do even now, so many years later in the year
Trash can get
2020.
stuck.
Keys
on
in
the-
chat in full exclamation
thought
says,
we-
thought we fixed that.
we
Key, it's okay. It's okay, buddy. Don't worry.
Key, it's not too late, Key. Just checking the patch today.
Maybe it is fixed. But I definitely know that it was a thing.
You just throw the trash can and you bounce it on his head. Cat is walking my keyboard. Get off the keyboard.
I gotta make sure that.
Yeah, was it a bug or a glitch? This is a
Wait, what?
special thing. Key, it's a special thing just for Key. Is it a bug or a glitch? Yeah.
He is saying no.
Yeah.
Haha, no.
I didn't mean to cause.
Oh.
You almost did something bad there.
Yeah, you almost
I
caught it right.
it's fine. I nailed it. It's 100% nailed
Wow. This was before bottle flipping was a thing.
it. Oh yeah. And
Look
now
at that.
it's not even a thing really anymore.
No, it's gone. It's gone again.
that came and went. If we had
Bring it
bottle
back.
flipping in P2, people would be like, "This game's old."
Yeah.
Oh man, that
Anna, I wanna-
static. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that static reminds me of one of my favorite things in the game that just seems so like there's no reason for it at all, but it's so amazing. Is like that nightmare level. The fact that it starts by you being in an eggshell, and it's so confusing for a lot of players. Like when we did playtesting, they're like, "What
They
is
didn't know how to
happening?"
break in.
Oh,
They're
when you
like,
punch
"What,
your
is
way
this a
out.
bug?"
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to punch your way out, but I love that so much, and then it's that anyway. That's
There's so many things like that in Psychonauts games because if you want to do something kind of unique, it's always a problem for a long time. Like for a long time,
Yeah.
the playtest, they were like, everyone was like, we gotta cut that because people don't know how to get out of the egg. And I was like, let's just add a couple of hints. People are gonna get it. People are gonna get it. So we added the cracks. Like the first you didn't have any cracks when you punched, and you had to punch it a few times. And people, it often is very tempting to cut those things, but if you keep working on them, eventually they become good. I was gonna say, I was thinking about that I feel like Anna's responsible for the fact that there are little pictures of the characters next to the subtitles.
Oh,
Yeah,
those for the.
Do you remember it that way, Ann? Because I was
Yeah.
like, I came from Adventure Game background, LucasArts Adventures, and like put the text over the character's head and have it float around with them. And Anna was like, no, we play JRPGs. We got to put a picture of the character down there. And Anna won. Anna won that one.
You're welcome, everyone.
The art is nice.
I might be able to afford the dowsing rod. I'm not sure. I always forget how much
I love the dowsing rod.
everything
It's one of
costs.
Yeah.
I remember when that because it was so tedious to try to get money, and then once that came online, I was like, yes. And I love the feel of it too. Shake and it was really fun.
Oh, look at all this over here.
Like this room. It's like 2001.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brainless. Is anyone in there yet?
No, it is empty.
When is it when you, Tim? When do you go in there and
It's,
slap? When do you go in there and Ford slaps you and you slap Ford and you just keep slapping each other?
It's funny because like I think it's after me and Sasha are kidnapped because I think the kids are already being kidnapped.
Yes,
Yeah.
by now we have seen
Kitty and what's her name are
Lovato,
gone.
and Dogen has his brain all zippy zapped.
Oh, they're in the TV lounge. go up there and you can hear
Oh,
Wolpaw's
they're in
ghost
the
story.
cabin.
Oh,
You gotta go into the main lodge.
into the
to
main
hear it.
lodge.
This game has a lot of things that only exist in a certain states that it took people years to find them because there's places you normally wouldn't go. It's like you have to go like, if you really want to find everything, finish a level, then go to every single physical world location, and then finish a level and repeat that. And you'll find all these little moments like Maloof turning into a gangster that you might not see.
Yeah.
There's that one cutscene. Remember that cutscene, Tim, with is it Coach and Raz? Man, I can't remember that I did, and then it got cut. And you're like, well, we'll find a place for it. And so it's like in that really obscure. It's in the campground up in the treehouse area in the classroom.
Wait, do you remember what there is said in the cutscene?
Yeah, he comes to tell Coach that there's a there's a monster, which is Linda, the lungfish. He doesn't know her name, but he just says there's this monster that he saw in the woods. But you have to basically backtrack way back to see it again, or to see it the first time. It's hardly anyone ever sees it.
We should go see it. We should go see it.
Well, this
But it
is
was cool,
also.
but it's still there.
You said if we go inside the lounge. Yep.
Yeah, they should be watching.
Okay.
Hacky sack. You and your hacky sack
These
obsession.
guys are my favorite.
Here's Frankie.
Yeah.
And
I like it because Vernon's not actually brainless.
Yeah.
He's so glad that someone's sitting there listening to a story.
He's my favorite camper.
He's great.
And Heather, you can change the channel too.
Yeah, we did that.
Little.
We did that last time. We
Okay,
did that.
cool,
We
yeah.
looked at some of the stuff on the walls and everything. It's super good.
Yeah, and in
I'm just
Rhombus,
remembering that. Oh, sorry. Vernon was the name my sister used to use for anyone who's being boring. Like whenever I was telling a long story, they'd be
Oh.
like, okay, Vernon. They'd make up fake characters named Vernon whenever like a really boring story was going.
Keep an eye
yeah,
on
in Rhombus of Ruin on the Jet, you can watch those shows again if you want to repeat. Watch some reruns.
We should have done the next 3 frames with them, so we can see like an episodic story.
Add a little extra.
Like he arrives at a saloon, the cowboy arrives at a saloon.
Yeah, just
The name
It's a
that's
really
in
slowly told story.
the name
Didn't
that's
we
in
put
my
those in middle
vernacular.
manager of justice too?
yep.
We've gotten a lot of use out of that. We paid Bagel for them once.
Oh, there's
Wow.
Dogen. Yeah, there we go. I was like, I think you can talk to Dogen a little bit too.
Night was falling and they were cold and
Yeah, scripted cutscene.
Yep.
Okay, so when Dogen
wait,
says
they not-
TV
they're
all
here.
the time, when the script came back, the French had translated it literally, and so of course none of the jokes made sense, and I had to explain to them, like, please preserve the humor, and so they rewrote all of Dogen's, like the things that Raz says to Dogen, like, what's the country code of Tuvalu, and then the answer was like Tele. So it was like it worked. They changed it, and I loved it, and I think that they were super stoked that they got to sort of like add their own stamp to it as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. So that's amazing. And I remember we had foreign language testers in the office, and I would always sneak up to them to see if they were laughing every once in a while, just to make sure that like it was actually funny, and they were. So, job well done, Malena.
Thanks.
Wow.
Yeah, and translators.
I don't remember that.
And instead of being about 14 inches long,
He was
He was
10 feet tall.
it's not a boring story. This is a good story.
It's a pretty good story. Old
Yeah,
timers
very thing.
blood.
This story works on anticipation here.
Yeah, it's like a long joke. Well, I mean, I guess that's what it is, but you know what I mean. Like the ones that have the immensely long setups.
Yep, Eric Wolball.
They're okay. These folks are
That's what Eric's
okay
like
out
in
here,
person.
though.
Yeah, he's like that in person. Tells me some really long boring stories. Finally got one of them in there. No.
Tim, was that you running? You must have written all of these rhymes then, right?
Got no zitty.
Quitty, fitty, zitty.
Yeah. Maybe? Yeah, probably.
Maybe?
The rhyming. There's a lot of dumb rhyming in games.
I think we need to go back to Sasha, but I always keep on double checking these things because
Well, now I want you should go up and talk to the coach to see if you get Ray's scene.
Oh boy, would that be all the way back here then?
In
Yeah.
the Camp Kids area.
Yeah, that could be what Ray was
Yeah,
saying.
you might.
Y'all know
And now we'll finally be able to decide whether we should have cut it, Ray.
the ins
This
and
will be the-
We'll
outs.
make
Just
the
leave it.
judgment right now.
This will be the first time anyone has actually seen it.
Oh wow, world premiere.
World premiere. The coach and Raz talk in a treehouse.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there's Lily up there.
Wait, I don't remember this one.
Oh, great.
Which
Well-
one is that?
well,
oh,
there's-
that's just a hint to go up there and talk to Lily.
But first
But
we can go up and presumably in the classroom would be a
Is the
scene with
coach
Coach.
asleep?
But he is sometimes. He
He's-
wakes up though. He wakes up in this cutscene. You actually wake him up. You startle him.
Yeah. Oh, there it is.
No, this
This
is
is not an animated cutscene.
no, this is scripted. This is different.
Oh, wow.
There, now
Yeah.
it
Oh,
is.
there we go. There it is. There it is. Here's the scene.
Unregistered paranormal entity.
Oh, UP. That's right.
Very good.
Aquatic in nature.
Oh yeah, I was squinting. Of course, I'll cover it up by subtitles. No one can see what you're animating.
Issue 424.
Yeah.
Where Sasha 9
I need to have the subtitles on for people at home.
2 Second Tales 424. Did we get that in the list?
thing was real and huge and it smelled.
I'm
Well,
pretty
yeah,
sure I
recently-
pulled it.
Melina recently
I'm-
helped me put together a list of all issues of 2 Second Tales magazine so I can make an episode guide, an issue guide of them.
Oh, really?
So what I was afraid that I'd be writing something I would use the same number twice. That's why I panicked about that.
Oh,
comment.
yeah. Hold on.
That was me panicking.
Trying to get down here. Lily. Hello.
And
What are you
to,
listening to?
to go back to what Anna and I were talking about earlier about just having a database of all this stuff, it makes it so easy for us to go back to find all of these things. So, yeah, I could come up with that whole list for Tim.
What number did you say? 420?
424, I think.
24.
Yes. Trying to hop on down. and-
I don't have that one. I have 417. Oh god. Thank you, Ray, for pointing out that scene.
Woo, you can
Yeah, that's
see.
some good memorization right there. Helps us share a couple things with folks. We did. I was very glad that also in Mia's we got to show them the demon room after that story, which was very good. I should get off the levitation thing because it's making it harder to get in there. We should go talk to Sasha, I believe.
With pleasure.
Someone's asking at home, is there a good way to watch these streams later? Yes, I will put them on YouTube. That's me doing some audience interaction. There we go, folks.
Is that some community management?
A little bit of community management, but community
While
management
playing a
is
game.
everything.
At the same
Yeah.
time.
Some test. It seemed the thoughts of some other entity are interlacing. I must call off the.
Sasha, there's no time. I think my vision about Dogen came
I'm just
true.
now I'm paying
Lloyd's
attention to the
gonna
story
happen
for a
if the
minute.
others
I've
don't
lost.
get to the bottom of this quick.
We don't
It's
know
very nice to
where
have
the projections are coming from yet.
a game that I'm also like eager to play again because I have not played this game in maybe 5 years or so. So it's fresh, and then every one of you gets to tell me something very fresh as well, which is very, very good. How did like these like the backgrounds and things like that for Collective Unconscious, how are these handled? As like, I guess is
I mean, how are they made?
yeah,
Or how are they rendered?
a little bit of both, I think.
I'm trying to figure out if that is a bagel or that's a Kim Kogan. It looks bagelish.
I think Bagel did those.
I think we're supposed to head back into.
You missed a figment.
Oh my gosh, Tim.
It's the worst 100% run.
I
It took
can't.
you so long to get 100%.
I can't do it.
Just
Get
ignore
it.
it, Heather. It's fine. Just ignore it.
Oh, now I fell. Now I fell and panicked and everything.
Oh,
We're
okay.
we're all going romping, roaring, and then
There's a vault back there too.
we
Are we
might.
allowed to? Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah, of course you can.
Are we allowed to talk about things that were worked on but didn't make it into the game, or no?
I would say so, unless Tim immediately goes no way right now.
Unless it was cut because it was extremely offensive.
Well, it was cut because we had a much cooler idea for this part. But I remember when Key first started, there was a boss fight that took place right here on this vine.
On the vine?
Yeah, it was. Well, I'm not gonna say whom he was fighting, but a lot changed, and it got. I mean, I think it was a good decision to. Well, okay, so it was.
I
a
don't
lung-
remember that.
It was a lungfish fight, or like it was like a shadow
It was the
lungfish.
shadow
Well,
lungfish.
the shadow
Yeah.
lungfish is in, but just the blockade. So at one point, did you actually fight him?
I
There was
think
gonna be
you
an
were
actual-
supposed to. Yeah, I think you were. Supposed
Yeah.
I jumped
I mean,
off.
I think it's good that you didn't. Because it
Heather,
made
Fight him
Heather-
later. You fight him
Heather,
later.
You gotta. Did you punch that meat, Heather? It'll create a upstream for
Yeah.
you.
Gotta punch the rotten meat.
Yeah, the
Oh,
rotten
well, I'm
meat.
gonna also just punch the normal meat for a second.
Okay.
Who animated the meat punch?
I think Tyler did that. I
Yeah.
think Tyler did
Tyler?
that.
I cannot believe that's a sentence I had to ask. Who animated the meat punch?
Because I know Jeff did a lot of meat work as well.
Might have done it.
There weren't as many hard lines between art and animation, I think, back then.
Here we go. The rotten meat, you're right. My brain immediately went to
This one's so gross.
TK for some reason because we
Disgusting.
just did it. Oh, look at that. Up and up and up and up and up.
Mm.
It
Ugh,
smell
ugh.
delightful
no.
there.
Now I'm just like, why didn't we ever say anything about this? Why are you scraping?
Oh
Hey,
man, I love this
I
stuff.
remember.
Every time Dr. Lovato lines would come in, I loved it. It was
Yeah.
so good.
This looks really offensive. This claw. Someone took a screenshot and I was like, oh, that claw looks really
Oh yeah.
inappropriate.
Tim.
Very inappropriate. I am not creating this. This is something that has been shown to us.
Eric Ingerson did this.
Eric did these, right? Yeah, Eric is sort of the personality of Dr. Lovato.
Yeah, he
The
kind of.
little claw action on his hand while he's
Yeah.
strokes
But
his head.
Yeah.
I gotta say, you guys in the new game are doing a really good job of making Lovato the same.
Yeah.
Tim, is Lobato's color of blue, is that supposed to be like an intentional thing that... Because it makes me think of Dr. Fred from Maniac Mansion a little bit.
Mm.
Is that...
I'm just gonna let you run with that. I think that's
Okay.
more. I think the color design. I actually don't know where the color design came in because back nowadays it would be maybe Bagel did that. Like Scott drew them usually black and white.
Yeah. I think Kim Kogan and Bagel just come back
Yeah.
with whatever
They
they
just
just
made
kind of
stuff.
fix something.
And a lot of the people's coloring was influenced by that artist. What was his name? Rosen. You have one of his
this-
friends, Joe. What's his name? Ray.
I don't know. Joe Rosen? What?
Is that you have the blue faces that you have in your
Oh, yeah, yeah.
you have
In
one
your
of his
house.
faces in your house.
Joe Soren.
Joe Rogan?
Soren?
Joe Soren. Joe Soren. He's an artist out of Flagstaff, Arizona. Really weird
Yeah, Joe
stuff.
Soren, and actually I'm looking at all the stuff is the same color, but there was a book we had where like all the faces were like blue and different colors, and that's why all the Psychonauts characters have that are weird colors.
Oh, I forgot there's a boss fight here. That's right.
Yeah, I really love the look of this level and
Me
all
too.
of the special effects. I remember the first time that like little explosion went in. I just like kind of lost my. Are we allowed to curse? Lost my shit.
Yeah, sure.
But
Said Mara.
I
Yes.
am so smart. Soft gelato
but
someday? Here I come.
It's amazing, and then there's little like little fleur-de-lis that show up. Look at all the maps,
exactly.
you know,
Yes.
running the
Yes.
map
Yes.
at 'em.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, but this is so hard. After you beat this first part, I hate the second part. It's so hard for me.
You hate it.
It's so hard. I just have a hard time with it. The next part.
Yeah. Strong words
It's just
from
brain.
Raymond Cook.
Like this.
Yeah,
Last time
I-
I used to think of Matt Franklin. I think this is the Matt Franklin jam.
Yeah, I think
Oh
I
my God.
animated this tank.
Look at that. Blah.
Boop, boop, boop. Grabbing it.
I remember like overnight it just got a lot harder, and like I used to be just fine playing this level, and then one day I was like, I can't freaking do this anymore, and so I would always give the controller to Matt Franklin and have him get me past it.
It's hard.
I hope
Used
I
to.
hope you sent feedback to the email thread about how hard it was, and that maybe we should make it easier.
Oh, I missed it.
You used to be able to run around on those arrows. Like, you remember that?
Oh yeah,
Those arrows.
that's right. I forgot about that.
Those ramps up above are like arrows that show the dominate. They show the brain tanks taking over the world.
Oh.
You can run around on them, and I don't
Oh,
know
up
that
there, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it just to help you get away from it for a while. But yeah, that's right.
Oh, I was too busy looking up top.
Get him,
that-
shoot him.
Oh, no, I was looking up top at the thing that you were talking about. It's
Yeah.
like
Don't-
part.
Don't listen to me.
What? Why? That's the worst thing. We've established that I call you my boss because that's what you are, and the don't tell me not to listen to you. That's confusing. Because one day you'll be like, why didn't you listen to me? And I'll be like, well, you told me not to listen to you.
No
We
one
have it
said
on
it'd be
tape,
easy.
Tim.
Yeah.
No one said it'd be easy, Heather.
Up is down, left is right. Don't care for it.
Got hit with a confusion grenade.
Oh, whoa.
Ready? Ready?
Yeah, don't get hit. That's the worst. Don't get hit with it.
It's just inverted
Ow.
controls,
Tim.
right?
Whoosh. Yes.
So it's
Yeah,
not...
now jump up and pong bomb. Oh, yeah. That too. That's a satisfying punch animation.
Yeah. We'll get
Wow,
there.
this guy has too many hit points. Is Key in chat? Could you change the hit points on the brain tank?
Well, if this was Psychonauts 2, I could turn on something like narrative combat and then just hit him really hard. Because we showed off that feature. We were talking to Kevin the other day,
Yeah.
which is one of our accessibility options, which makes Raz do more damage. I should... Oh no, he got up. I was like, I should have it here.
I love that name, narrative combat.
Narrative combat.
It sounds like you're gonna get a text version of fighting.
Yes. Well, that would take a lot of work. Of like, the robot jumps at you. Will you go left or right?
Yeah, but
Stanley Parable, the
Okay, there, right there, yes.
Yeah, you think you beat it, Heather. You think you beat it, but no.
No, I beat it. I beat it,
That's
totally.
Now you gotta deal with this.
Now you got to deal with
Get on
this.
your bubble, get on your bubble.
Get those healths.
Get on your bubble and float up and side blast it. Run away from that. Get behind the pillar.
Ah,
Get on your bubble.
I'm on my bubble. I'm on my
Side blast
bubble.
it. Jump up, side blast it.
Tim,
There, you're doing great.
Tim,
Don't listen to anybody else.
Tim, you're mostly just confusing me. It's
Side
a lot
blast.
of, it's a lot of
Side
pressure.
blast.
You're doing great. This is how it's supposed to go. You're too close.
The side blast bounces off.
Yeah, this.
Actually, I don't remember how to beat it. You float around and you side blast them from the air.
Yeah, it's just the
Right?
thing.
I went into the confusion grenade again. That's fine.
You just walked into one.
It's fine. Don't worry about
Oh,
it.
I see.
I think this is where my little son gave up. I think this killed it for him.
I had no idea.
And then it flies
got it
away.
now.
It's
You figured it out now.
Yeah, side blast it. Stay at safe distance.
I'm punching it. There we
You
go.
can side blast it as you're floating, though, right? Oh, look at that.
It's easier.
Wow,
I like. I
nice.
just run up to it and hit it in the face.
Nice
Well,
job.
the brain.
All mine.
Oh, all sorts of narrative hooks constantly.
Oh, look at the bunnies. Look at the bunnies on the wall.
Oh yeah. Love
I
those.
had to abort
So
the
good.
experiment. Something unbelievably urgent has come up and I must leave immediately.
Take it
So,
off, Raz.
Key asks, "Why did we do this, Eric?" He says, "So we have to keep. So you keep having to reassign the power buttons. I suppose."
You forgot your.
There we go. We can keep on moving forward. I think, right? It's Friday, right?
Did you find the side portal?
It's Friday.
The side portal is still
There's,
using.
I know.
yeah, there it is. He never gives it back, does he?
Yeah, he
Steals
never
it.
gives it back to Sasha. Sasha's got a bunch of them.
Whole time. Ever since I stepped through the static in the
Eric says,
caravan,
"Wait, Heather, no.
I knew I wasn't obsessed
What did I do?
with meat.
That's the wrong message."
Dan was stealing psychic brains to arm a fleet of deadly tanks,
Ah.
apparently.
I've got to tell Lily.
Down by the water?
I'm not logged into Twitch, so I just want to say hi to Eric Robson.
There you go. It's hard for
Hi,
me to
Eric.
tell what's going on in chat. All I see are bits and pieces floating. If that's the wrong message, I apologize.
Wait, what's the wrong message?
I don't know. We don't need to talk about it. It's already, the moment has passed. Who knows?
What did you say?
I don't know. What did I say? Why is there always weird stuff happening in this room? Because this is where Bagel revealed things. It didn't reveal much. We have to go down to the water is where we need to go.
Nighttime.
Oh, this
Now
is
they're Heather. Now they're bears.
Now there are
Yep.
bears?
Now they're bears.
cougars
Yeah.
and bears.
Ah!
Make sure you see a bear.
Ah!
Oh,
Ah!
Oh, there's a cougar.
There's a cougar
Oh.
right there. I'm just gonna
Burning cougar.
head down to the water the easy way.
It's time to go to the lake.
Yes, sir,
Smart.
Admiral, sir.
Super easy.
That's the wrong message.
Are there a lot of like different camper things at nighttime? They must mostly be asleep, right? There's not a lot of hidden camper scenes
No, they're
at
all
nighttime.
brainless.
They're
They're
all
all like
By now are they
At
all
this point,
brainless?
they're all kidnapped. Right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, look.
Look at Bobby.
Explain.
He is.
Yeah, because are they in Ford's
Still punches.
underground lab now? If you go there.
Yeah, now they're in that lab.
Oh, in the room. I think
Gotta foreshadow that cold so you know
this will end up taking us into Lungfishopolis, probably, right?
Yeah,
this
this
is
is
nuts?
really...
Go to the bathysphere.
Doesn't start. Yeah, it doesn't start immediately. That's right. The bathysphere.
The bathysphere. Yeah.
Nikki didn't have a cold when she did this, did she, Tim?
I don't think so. She's acting like she has a cold.
I forget why Lily has a cold.
That's why
It's
she's
so
still on
later
the
the
brain.
super sneezing powder doesn't work.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just so subtly snuck into the cutscene. Totally natural the way she mentions it and then changes the subject. I like this. All the little pizza.
Oh,
Pizza?
right. I forgot she did this.
TV?
Did Mark Hamer do what?
This was
Did
Mark
he
Hamer.
animate this cutscene? I think
Yeah.
he did this
Yeah.
cutscene. Yeah.
Yeah. I love the moths around the lights. It's a nice touch.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's
Look at
hard to
them.
tell with the subtitles up, but there's like little pieces of things being like they're. It tried various things to
Yes.
lure her in.
There was pizza and I think a small TV.
Television. Yeah. Flower.
There's a lot of TV in this game. A lot of TV.
There's like a side view of the lungfish with a kid inside of it that Scott drew that shows a kid like watching TV inside.
Well, that'd be cozy.
Get him. I can't.
Tim, is the psychic stowaway thing? Is that also just a easy way to be able to tell the player where to go if you have literally someone in your head who can tell you where to go?
I mean, that's functionally what it is. But a lot of it, I mean, the thing with the bacon and stuff comes from this thing my wife told me about tapeworms. Have you heard that about tapeworms? That
What?
if you have a tapeworm living in your stomach, the way to get it out is you hold a piece of bacon in front of your open mouth, and then you wait, and the tapeworm will smell the bacon and come out and just poke its head out in the back of your throat to find the bacon. And you reach in with a hemostat or some sort of pincher, and you grab its head, and you slowly pull the tapeworm out.
That might be one of the grossest things
Yeah,
I've
isn't
ever
it?
heard.
She swears it's true, but I think, I don't know, who knows if that's true.
Hey,
But
that can't be
always, maybe that's true. Have you tried it?
Is anybody
Yeah.
anybody at
Didn't
home
work.
who has a tapeworm right now? Try it for
So
us.
I hope I didn't ruin the whole bacon Ford thing for anybody who thinks now it's like a tapeworm living in your brain. But yeah,
Well, now-
Ford's basically a tapeworm, a mental tapeworm.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
I know grosser things about tapeworms. People in the chat, I was showing a lot of restraint.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. Is that the only load screen? Is that the only time we use that load screen? Right there? With the fish?
Oh my god, special case load screen. What are you gonna use? Birds?
Yeah, it's true.
You can't
Oh, and he falls into the rhombus.
look at it. Gorgeous, beautiful.
That's a cool bathysphere. It's like a helmet.
It does have that old divey helmet thing going on.
I mean, it
which is
should have
very
really
good.
been an interactive. It should have been an interactive, like ridiculous fishing type diving situation.
Y'all do all the modeling or a lot of it in here.
For like the fish and all of that.
The fish would have no, that would have been. I did that fish actually.
Oh, you did this
Yeah.
fish. It's a very good
and the
floppy
crab,
fish.
right?
Yeah, and the and the lobster.
The lobster.
Or sorry, the lobster.
Ah! It hurt me.
And the clam?
Yeah, and the clam. Yeah, and all the animation. Yeah, these were
I
like
don't know.
little quick ones that we had to pump out.
I'm trying to show off some of their animations by getting hit or whatever.
Yeah, he'll suction on your head if you go to the fish. He'll attach to your
creepy
head.
man.
Huh?
If you run in, if you
Oh,
run
there we
into the
go.
fish, he should attach to your head. There you go. There you go.
Get back on. Stay on. That should be a permanent
Yeah,
feature.
so if you get to the end of the game with him on your head, you get an achievement.
We should have, yeah, it's like taking the garden gnome to the end of Half-Life 2 Episode 2. It's like very specific, very hard achievement.
You're gonna need those nails later.
I am. Smack him.
I love those ghost hands. See, normally you only see one hand of Gallikill. That's a left and a right hand.
So you,
Rarely seen.
I want you to know that the fact that you gave our fans a firm understanding of how to pronounce Galokio, like made them very happy, and it's very esoteric, but some people were like, oh, that's how you say it, and they were very, very happy. And I want you to know that it's entirely one of the most random things ever.
I only know that because of Ronnie James Dio, who popularized that Devil's Horns thing, which is the Malokio, which is the or it fights off the Malokio. I think Malokio is the evil eye, and that Devil's Horns thing is the symbol you do to ward off the Malokio. And that's why I know how to pronounce Malokio, which is where Galokio comes from.
So Mal means bad, and Occhio is eye in Italian.
Bad eye. Very good.
Think like someone gives you the evil eye, you gotta give them the well, I don't know what the term is for the Devil's Horns. The Ron James Dio horns.
Always do it.
Dave, didn't you model Linda?
Yeah, I think she's probably one of my favorite ones in this game to model.
But you mean like you posed as a model for the...
Yes, yes.
The artist
before I went on, that was pre-diet, Tim.
Back when one of your eyes was bigger than the other. And you had that thing hanging from your forehead.
Yeah.
He had that removed.
And you were always...
Speaking of garden gnomes, there's a garden gnome right there.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
They were...
Nails. Oh, well, now the fish is on my head. Should suck up the nails, right? Or do I need to TK? Oh, it's barfing. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once he starts sucking them in, yeah.
Yeah. Very good.
Oh, here we go.
Always good.
How scary Linda is.
Go time.
Looking for more. There we go. There's some more.
I didn't work on this part at all, so I just want to say this as someone who had nothing to do with it, in the sense that I love the level design in this, because you get to explore, like, there's this stuff under the bottom of the water, and there's a time pressure to it, where you kind of have to, like, very quickly understand what it is you're jumping over. There's like a little pirate ship, I think, eventually, like, as you move it through this bubble. But you can't quite really make out everything. It feels a little dreamy, and like you're like exploring as much as you can before, like, you know, sort of everything fades away, because you know, you're not in control. It's like a really great metaphor for life. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh wow.
Wow, that's some games criticism right there. That's great.
Yeah, but I honestly really like, and I love the fact that this little water, what is it called, like underwater, the algae just kind of flops down, like it's standing straight up, and as the water leaves it, it flops down, like these little touches. I've always thought it was really lovely. When I've always enjoyed playing this boss fight.
And the glowy coral that you smash.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the glory core.
Oh.
Yeah.
It says Geld did the path to this mostly.
Oh
Yeah.
no, I
Peterson.
accidentally went backwards. There we go.
It's funny because the bubble is like this weird. It makes me think of really old video games like Adventure, this cartridge on the Atari 2600, where you have this little torch and you're going through a maze, and the torch lit up just a section of the maze. It's like this super fancy version of that.
I always think of like Sonic the Hedgehog, the underwater bubble, right? That sort of thing.
Wait, he had an underwater bubble?
Well, no. In order to stop from drowning in that game, you have to swallow a bubble underwater of air.
You love wearing that fish on your head.
I do. You know what? Actually,
It
that's
does
not.
look good. It makes you look taller.
That's not even like a bit that I'm doing right now. I actually, Ray, I love.
Thank you, Heather,
I
for
love
showing
this.
off.
I love the sucker fish a lot.
This took a lot of tuning, I think. I remember like how fast that bubble was to move.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I imagine there was like a lot of like testers who, if it was moving too fast, like they just got
Yeah.
We should have added a lot of like things that would have been really fun for Raz to stop and do, like a video game or something. Just like Raz, like, oh, I gotta keep going.
Oh, to get like distracted, yes.
Like really distracting, like a buffet.
Yeah, exactly. Like a little newsstand where you could get a coffee, and then
Yeah.
Delicious.
Relaxing chill spots. Can't use.
Vibe spots.
Is that dead fish coming out of there? What's it?
Was it? What is that one? Yeah, I don't know what that one is.
Recognize that thing. Okay, none of us know what it is.
Oh, I went to go grab the nail.
you got
I
eaten by
I got so excited for the nail that was there.
But
that
you're a
I-
little ahead of us. That's why you
got
always
grabbed.
know what's going to happen. before it
Yes.
happens.
There's a small delay because y'all have to watch through Twitch, unfortunately. We'll go that. I think we'll go a little bit into Lungfishopolis, and then maybe that will end up being as far as we go. But we can get there. It's very good.
I could probably join you for the next stream when you're doing Milkman as well.
Oh yeah, that will be.
You know,
next.
you want to know what's something funny about that is I actually this is a bad terrible secret to have and just terrible, which is that I get really motion sick playing 3D games and.
Oh really?
Yeah, and especially for me, the hardest level for me was the Waterloo world where you're doing the action path, like, you know, the most scaled in part of it. But what's weird, I worked on Milkman, which is notoriously the level that makes everyone sick, and I never got sick there.
Weird.
Yeah, like it went through several iterations with relative gravity and everything, and I had just like I was so good at that level, everyone. I would just like get on the ball, and I knew like I would jump off a cliff because I knew exactly how to time it so that I landed on the other island and avoid, like, you know, kind of just skip around. It was a real, like, someone mentioned, I think Malena, you mentioned that you dream about the game. That was the level that I dreamed about.
Nope. You're gonna well, no.
Oh, there's a little
There's a
western.
sign for shaky claim. One of these signs says shaky claim on it.
Oh, like we were talking about from last time.
The nail factory, it says. Sounds like something nail.
Claim
Oh,
nail
yeah.
factory.
Yeah.
Yep.
I got a chance to meet Steve Bloom, who's the G-Man voice, and I mean, it was there for the box trolls because he did a voice on the box trolls, but I just was like, I work at Double Fine, and oh my gosh, like, thank you. Like, I would listen to your voice files at 3 o'clock in the morning, and you brought me such joy.
He's done so many things throughout his career. It's really incredible. Some of the voice actors that are in these games, right, are just really, really
They're
so
really
talented.
Have a cast. Yeah.
And we're coming up, like, I love all the voices in Lungfishopolis. I mean, like, just the voices of all the citizens, and they're just, you know, one-off lines. It's, you know, it was an actor who was cast for a different part, and then Chris would just sort of Tetris the actors in so that they could do other lines, and, you know, the citizens would have just 1 or 2 lines, like, oh no, the orphanage. But it's just hilarious.
The puppy orphanage.
We'll slide on down.
You're playing this level really well, Heather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, thank you. That makes me feel really nice and good and happy. See, Ray, that's the type of positive, like, affirmation that I constantly need and crave.
Maybe I'm just bad at it, and you seem like you're really good at it.
Well.
This part. Oh yeah. This
Oh,
part.
I totally
Here we go.
forgot. I forgot about
You
this.
You remember how to get his lure?
It's shouldn't it be one of? Ow.
Oh, the clams.
Yeah, it should be over here. I'm trying to
Any
get
of the
it.
clamps that are open.
Yeah. Well, I think I just got hit. So come on.
Oh, you're almost dead.
It's fine. You know, it is what it is. I guess you need to really get the right distance.
Yeah, this one's a little tricky to get it to.
I do like. Yeah, I'm trying to do it.
You have to get the red ball right. Like, you almost have to stand.
Yeah,
in the
there we go.
clam.
Yeah,
There you go.
perfect. I was trying to. Yeah, I was trying to run around them and go from there.
I'm fighting in a little western town, which is kind of awesome.
Ah.
It's like a one-on-one duel, except there's no guns.
It's got that energy. Come on, go and.
You can, like, hop across.
Well,
the
I just
front of it.
triggered the thing.
Oops.
It's a little tricky. I keep on getting hit by your. I mean this with affection. By your sucky fish.
I didn't play some.
Yeah.
There we go. I think only one more time.
Yeah, I think the next one will do it.
It's hidden by the algae.
Yeah,
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, there it
Perfect.
is. Perfect, perfect.
Oh, not to do
That poor
mission.
little thing just tried to kill me about 8 different ways.
Well, that's not its fault.
It's always a
This was once
misunderstood
just a
thing,
normal-sized
right?
lungfish.
That's always, we're
Minding
always,
its own business in a
we always
mucus-lined
think
air bubble beneath a
that people are
semi-dry lake
monsters,
there.
Tim.
But judging by the
We think the
work
A little
monsters are
science here about
monsters.
the mucus-lined air bubble. I looked that up.
accelerated its
Life
growth
cycle of the
and
lungfish.
has placed an
Oh,
implant in
really?
its brain to make it do his evil bidding.
Mucus-lined. Whatever. I like the steel plate
Yeah, go
reinforcement on
inside there and
the
try to smash the
lungfish's
implant.
head.
Use the psycho portal I saw you steal from
You know,
Sarge's
monsters. Like when
lab.
your parents say, you know, monsters are more afraid of you than you are of them. Or is that bees?
Some big
Or
scary
spiders?
I mean, when you think about it,
Rats.
bees are
Bees more afraid of you
monsters,
than you are
really.
of it.
Just very small ones.
Bees? Tiny monsters.
Yeah, they're terrifying.
Well, I really enjoyed watching you play, but I have to sneak off to another meeting.
Oh, Tim,
Don't be mad.
we will say goodbye to you.
Hi, Tim. Great to hear
Hi.
your voice.
We'll put
Good
the
to hear you.
Tim.
we will
Bye-
put the
bye,
portal on.
everybody.
We'll talk a bit about
Okay.
Lungfishopolis, and I think that will end up being our last little segment anyway, because I don't want to. I'm afraid that I'm gonna get so hooked on to playing the game that somebody will be like, "Oh, I'm so glad to join this week," and I'll be like, "Well, actually, there's like 30 minutes left." Right? That won't happen though.
Yeah. Okay. I gotta go kill bugs.
You gotta go kill them bugs.
Yeah, and I gotta go eat lunch. That just showed up. So
All right.
it
It's
was
lots
nice
of fun.
talking to you. Love you, Anna.
Bye. Love you too.
Good to hear from you, Anna.
There's
Yeah,
good.
Bye, Ray.
There's good folks sneaking in. Although I guess we could tease folks because Anna, your thing wasn't entirely Lungfishopolis, right? It was Milkman, you were saying. So
Milkman, yeah.
this might actually be a good sneaky place to tease it and be like, maybe we'll do Lungfishopolis next time, and then we can all sneak off. But we'll show the opening cutscene. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. We'll show the opening cutscene, and then we'll all sneak out because I do love Lungfishopolis.
Oh, it's so good.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
I
Anna,
gotta
do
say,
you?
sorry, I gotta say bye to Eric. Bye, Eric. Okay, that's it. Bye.
Bye, Eric. Bye, everybody. Well, we're not.
Anna, do you remember when we were playing this game and we, Bert was such a great tester. He was a tester back then, and we used to joke that he would be the one guy who could play this level without stepping on a single citizen. And
Yeah.
imagine that he right up on bug that said, "Nobody yelled at me. I killed no citizens."
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think,
I
yeah.
think- yeah. He was able to get like just the best bugs.
Okay.
Like,
And
everything.
also, half the time he would also fix them for us.
Yeah. Oh, right. That too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had a computer science degree, so he would just walk in there into that code, and just we're busy, so
Just take care of it.
just take care of it.
That's
yeah.
nice, though.
I mean,
That's nice to
yeah.
have that.
Yeah, I mean the fact that he was actually a very good programmer meant that he could come up with bugs, having seen the code, that no one you wouldn't be able to typically come across as a tester, but he would find them simply because he knew exactly where the bug was in the code.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
That's like
yeah.
that's like seeing the Matrix, just
Yeah.
knowing it right there.
Exactly.
It's very, very good. So
Yeah.
I think what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna end it here, and we'll start with Lungfishopolis next time, and we'll go into Milkman and onwards, if that's all right. So I want to
Yeah.
say thank you to everybody at home. Anna, I didn't even know that you were gonna show up, and it was amazing.
Oh yeah, surprise!
It was,
I've been bad about checking my emails. I'm sorry.
That's fine. It is an absolutely happy surprise. And then Malena, everybody else is left but Malena. You are wonderfully kind, and it was such a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you. I'm happy to
Melina.
have been a part of this. Anna, I love you.
love
I miss
you.
you.
I miss you too. Bye. Bye.
Yes, I'm gonna.
Well, I'll see you next time. Maybe I'll be in the next one.
Yes, the screen's gonna freeze, but we're gonna go and say goodbye. Goodbye, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye, Key. Bye, Eric. Bye. Bye, everyone on the chat.